Thank you for joining us today. I'll begin right away. This is the agenda for today. In addition to our regular report on quarterly performance, I will also be talking about business strategy for Tokyo later in the presentation. This slide shows operating profit growth Q on Q, comparing the January quarter and the April quarter. Here you can see significant items impacting profit. As I explained at our last analyst presentation, there were some one-time costs in Q1 that raised concerns about profit dropping in the second quarter. But in fact, we have actually seen a significant improvement in profit in Q2. We expect this trend to continue into the third quarter. Moving on, the next slide shows a summary of profit and loss in the first half of 2014. We saw double-digit growth in net sales and net profit, while operating and ordinary profits fell due to one-time costs in the first quarter. This slide shows earnings to date as a percentage of full-year forecasts. We are currently at the halfway point in the year. Net sales and net profit are at 50% of year-end forecasts, and operating profit and ordinary profit are at 40%. This is where we are at the 6-month mark. I will talk more about our plans for the second quarter on the next slide. Firstly, I'd like to tell you that there is no revision to year-end forecasts. I'll start by talking about the first half of this year. In the provider business, one-time costs reported in the first quarter totaled 400 million yen. The media rep business is about 200 million yen behind target in the online advertising and media segment. However, in the securities segment, we had a strong first quarter, and the segment is at 500 million yen above target. In the mobile entertainment segment, we spent 700 million yen on TV ads and structural improvements. As a result of these factors, profit in the first half was around 5 billion yen. In regard to the second half of the year, in the third quarter we are spending 300 million yen on TV ads in the infrastructure segment, but we are seeing good growth momentum in the segment and expect to see return on investment in Q4. The media rep sub-segment is being revised, and we are focusing on improving our own ad tech products. In the securities segment, we forecast close to zero due to the volatility of the market, but if you look at the first half of the year from a historical perspective, we saw record low levels of market activity. So we believe that we will be able to achieve targets in the second half. In the mobile entertainment segment, we are already profitable on a monthly basis and expect the segment to make a profit contribution from the third quarter. Lastly, in the incubation segment, there is already one investment that we have confirmed exit from, and that is expected to add around 800 million yen. So this is the background as to why we believe we can clear 7.5 billion in the second half of the year. Next, I'd like to show you historical earnings over the past 3 years. Firstly, this slide represents net sales and operating profit on a consolidated basis. As you can see, we have achieved sustained growth based on stock revenue. Moving on, this slide shows net sales by segment. In the infrastructure segment, we have had 10 consecutive quarters of 20% growth.
10四半期連続 20% 成長となっております。
The next slide shows operating profit by segment.
営業利益の推移です。インフラは
In the infrastructure segment, despite spending of 170 million on advertising, profits still increased year on year.
メディア
The media rep business is not performing well, and we are making every effort to implement improvements. In the securities segment, we are seeing a 19-year low in trading volume, yet we have maintained profits at a level comparable to the previous corresponding period.
ゲームは
In the mobile entertainment segment, we were not able to achieve a profitable quarter. However, the segment is now generating profits on a monthly basis and is expected to make a contribution in the third quarter.
ここからは
The next part of today's presentation is financial results. I'll begin with the profit and loss overview. This is as I explained earlier when we talked about operating profit.
前のパートで
The increase in net profit was a result of an improvement in the group's overall ability to generate net profit and an improvement in tax burden.
再編などによる税負担の最適化により改善をいたしております。続きまして
Moving on to balance sheet. For your reference, the GMO Click Holdings balance sheet is shown on the right. If GMO Click is excluded, the balance sheet size would be approximately 70 billion yen.
賞味のバランスシートは約700億円の規模となっております。続きまして
The next slide shows cash flow position. 2.16 billion yen was generated in operating cash flow. 1.99 billion yen was spent in investing cash flow,
マイナス10
and 2.73 billion yen was spent in financing cash flow.
タイムキャッシュフローが
Current position of cash and equivalents is 50.3 billion yen.
現金同等物の残
GMO Click Holdings cash flow is again shown for your reference on the right.
こちらもご参考までに GMO クリックホールディングスのキャッシュフローを右側に記載をいたしております。当社の
The group operates in 4 business segments. From left to right, internet infrastructure, online advertising and media, internet securities, and mobile
エン
entertainment.
ターテインメント事業となっております。私ども
We are Japan's biggest internet infrastructure provider in terms of customer base. In recent years, we have focused on strengthening our consumer offerings in provider, internet securities, and smartphone
コン
games.
シューマー向けの分野でも顧客層を拡大している点にご注目いただければと思います。現在のグループ
Total number of staff in the group is over 4,000, and of those, over 1,600 are engineers and creators.
でございます。
The percentage of our staff who are creators is now around 40%.
10%に達しております。
Most of the group's products are developed and operated in-house, and this gives us our competitive strength from both a cost and a functionality perspective.
での優位性につながっております。この作る人の比率を中期的には 50% 以上に高めたいと考えております。次のページでございます。
This slide shows composition of the net infrastructure segment. The market share of each subsegment has grown several points. If you have a look at a Google search results page, 94% of that page will be our domains, and 57% of the websites in those search results will be hosted on our servers. In domains, we now have over 90% market share, and we are overwhelmingly number one in this market. Going forward, we will strengthen our strengths and accelerate growth with the new .tokyo domain.
足元は強いものをより強くというグループの大方針のもと、来期以降のインフラセグメントの成長をさらに加速させるため、 ドット東京をはじめとする新ドメインの拡大に注力をいたしております。
This slide shows historical net sales and operating profit in the infrastructure segment over the past 3 years. After a strategic investment of 170 million yen, profit grew 2.9%. However, if this investment is excluded, we would be seeing record high profits at over 1.5 billion.
過去最高の利益水準となっております。
This graph presents net sales by product in the infrastructure segment. All products are performing well, and as a result, we are seeing accelerated top-line growth. Contracts in the Internet infrastructure segment now total 5.36 million. That's yearly growth of about 600,000 contracts. The majority of this is stock revenue and is the foundation for long-term and stable earnings growth. Moving on to the online advertising and media business segment. This slide shows quarterly earnings. Net sales grew 3.2% year-on-year to 8.2 billion yen. Operating profit fell 32.5% due to poor performance in the media rep business as the industry shifted from banner advertising sales to networked ad products. This graph shows performance trend by sub-segment. In the online advertising sub-segment, ad network and ad technology products grew, while the rep business shrank due to a shift in the industry away from the traditional advertising sales model. In the internet media sub-segment, we responded to a continuing shift from PC to smartphone with a focus on the development of smartphone apps. Across both sub-segments, we concentrated on increasing the composition of in-house developed products in overall product composition. In particular, we focused on the development of new products centered around ad technology, social advertising, and big data-related development, such as private DMP, using the group's strength in technology and operation. This graph shows the growth trend in revenue from group ad network products. Year-on-year, these products have grown 34%. Driving growth in particular is reward affiliate advertising, an advertising product that promotes an increase in app downloads. This graph shows performance in the Internet security segment. As you would have seen in the media, dollar-yen FX trading is at a 19-year low. This has impacted revenue, however, we have been able to maintain profits year-on-year. This graph shows FX trading volume over the past 3 years. Grey represents the entire market, blue represents us, and the orange line represents our market share. You can see that market share continues to grow and recently reached 34%. Despite fluctuations in trading volume in the market, we continue to grow market share. I showed you this chart also in our presentation last quarter. For the second year in a row, we have the highest FX trading volume of all our competitors worldwide. Going forward, we will continue to maintain a cost leadership strategy to grow market share. When there is a lull in the market, we believe that it is a good time to focus on expanding market share through marketing. We have been doing television commercials on TBS programs for a while now, but we are now aiming to further increase brand awareness through billboards in areas including Aoyama, Shibuya, Shinjuku, Shimbashi, and Roppongi from July. This graph shows net sales and operating profit in the mobile entertainment segment. In Q1, we made significant structural improvements in the segment and improved losses by 570 million yen. Unfortunately, however, we were not able to reach profitability as promised last quarter. However, I can tell you that the segment is profitable on a monthly basis, and we expect it to make a profit contribution by Q3. This slide shows our game pipeline for the remainder of the year. We will be expanding Line Dream Garden to other countries. We will be using our existing resources to generate hit titles. This is the ad campaign that began on July 22nd for Tokyo. The start of the campaign coincides with the beginning of general availability for Tokyo. The campaign features AKB48. The promotion features digital signage in Shibuya, Shinagawa, Shimbashi, and Tokyo, as well as advertising on trains. We have seen a 40% increase in the number of searches being conducted on the Onomiya website since the beginning of the TV ad campaign. Combined with online advertising, we expect to see continued results going forward. This slide shows current registration volume. We saw rapid uptake in the first 24 hours and achieved 10,000 registrations. Out of the 350 new domains currently available worldwide, .Tokyo is at number 20. Since the release of new domains .Tokyo and .Nagoya, we are registering an increase on average of 700 domain names a day. We are not seeing new domains impact growth in existing domains, and we believe that demand is growing. It has only been 10 days since the beginning of general availability for .Tokyo, and we are confident that we are on track to achieve 100,000 registrations in the first year. This slide shows a Registrar ranking by new Gtld sales. GMO Internet Group service on Omai.com is currently ranked 9th. We are the only Japanese company ranked in the top 100. This is only the beginning, but we know that domains are crucial to the Internet and that this is a stock business that will continue to form the core of this segment. New domains also enable us to reach a new customer base, and this is key to the Internet infrastructure growth strategy going forward. In closing, I would like to recap on current themes for the group. They are to strengthen our strengths and develop number one products in our weaker businesses. The infrastructure segment is our strongest segment. It is overwhelmingly number one in each of the markets it operates in, but we are concentrating now on improving brand awareness and product strength. In the Internet security segment, we have built a business structure that allows us to be profitable even when there is a lull in market activity. In Japan, we focus on growing market share by maintaining leading technology and a cost leadership strategy. Overseas, we are concentrating on developing the Hong Kong and UK markets.
国内はこの圧倒的な技術力に基づくコストリーダーシップ戦略でシェアを拡大し、そして海外はすでに営業を監視しております香港、近々営業を開始いたしますイギリスなど水平展開をしてまいります。
In online advertising, we are responding to changes in the market environment by revising the media rep business and making structural reforms. We are also drawing on the group's strengths to develop new ad tech, private DMP, and other products. In the mobile entertainment segment, we are on the brink of profitability. We now have the knowledge, experience, and expertise to go forward and develop hit titles. By generating group synergies through technology and number one products, we will continue growing the internet.
高い技術力とナンバーワン商材の複合体として今後もより一層のインターネット産業の拡大に尽力をしてまいります。
Thank you for your time today.
忙しいところ、当社決算説明会にご来場ご視聴いただき誠にありがとうございました。
Internet for everyone.
走ってきたので汗だくですいません。失礼しました。